So this week my presentation is on the law of effect, and it was proposed by Edward Thorndike. And this is where the stimulus and response, they are associated. So what this means is if you have a certain behavior and the consequences for this behavior are good or satisfying or pleasant, then the behavior is likely to be more frequent or to happen more in the future. And then on the opposite end, if you have a behavior that is followed by unpleasant or unsatisfying consequences, then the behavior is likely to cease or to be far and few in between. And so he categorized this into two separate things. He categorized that into reinforcement and into punishment. And the biggest example that I can think of for this is parenting. When you have a child expressing a behavior that is good, you give them reinforcement, encouragement, maybe a reward. And then if the child is engaging in a behavior that is bad, sometimes the child receives punishment from his or her parent. And so that's the two categories that are under the law of effect. And Thorndike modified this. So he took out the punishment and just left the reinforcement. And he published this idea in 1905. So this was really smart that he modified this, because even back then he was able to know that punishment wasn't necessarily as good as other forms of learning. And we can see that now in psychology, that that punishment isn't always the best thing. It's usually actually the worst thing when teaching a child or teaching people and in learning. And the law of effect, it can be applied to learning also. It can be applied to human learning and behavior, and also to animal learning and behavior. And he showed this in his Thorndike's puzzle box experiment. And this is where he placed a hungry cat in a box and then of course there was food on the outside of the box, and the cat was able to open the box if it pressed a certain lever. And at first the cat started scratching at the box or trying to get out in a forceful way. And of course that behavior wasn't working. It wasn't giving satisfying results. And so the cat started to try different strategies to get out of the box, and was successful in pressing the lever to get out. And then later, when the cat was in the box when it was hungry, and there was fish or food on the outside, the cat was able to get out of the box quickly by pressing the lever. And so we can see that the behavior of the cat changed because of the consequences that it had. And so this is a good example of the law of effect. And this is my oral presentation for this week.